Hi, and welcome to Candid Low Code. Candid Low Code is a vidcast series we're doing at Mendix to directly address the things our customers and employees are asking for most right now. I'm John Scolamero, the manager of architecture and governance here in product marketing at Mendix. And today I'm joined by Vin Beltrani, a senior solutions architect also at Mendix. Today we're going to talk about a follow-up to Vin's last presentation where he showed us how to get data from services. And today Vin's going to show us how to expose data from our Mendix applications so other people can use it and do so in a secure manner. So hi Vin, how are you doing today?
Good, doing well, John. How's everything going?
Great. It's actually finally some decent weather out here, so I'm really looking forward to getting out later. Socially distant, but that'll be nice. Anyway, so the last time you and I were together, you showed some really cool stuff about how we can go get data from other services, and that was great, and how to bring them into our applications. But now, let's say I wanted to share my data with somebody else. How would I do that? How does that work?
So you've got a couple of different options of how to make data inside of a Mendix app accessible to other parties. So let me go ahead and start up sharing my screen a little bit. So last time, like John had said, part of the quick demonstration was being able to call a REST service and import data into our application. Now, I want to kind of play the opposite role. I want to pretend that our Mendix application is the system of record for these inventory items, right? So now this application is in charge of these inventory items. It's where I could add extra inventory items. Perhaps I could change inventory items and descriptions and things like that. This is the source of truth.
So when you say system of record, what you really mean is like, this is the place that's controlling like inventory items. This is the place that for our business or for our organization, if you want to find out what's really going on with inventory, this is the place to get it, is our app, right? Our solution.
That's exactly right. That's exactly
okay.
Right. If
there was so then what we're gonna do is we're gonna share that data so other people can use it.
That's exactly right. This is the official system of record, and other individuals, either third parties or perhaps people within my organization that want to build an app experience around this data. Perhaps they want to report on this data. And there are a lot of different reasons why they would want access to our data. And we're going to go through the steps now of exposing this data as a REST service. That's one of the options you have in Mendix. All right, so let's go ahead and go directly into Mendix Studio Pro. And where we're going to start in this lesson is directly on my domain model, right? So we've got a relatively simple domain model for our project. We've got teammates and we've got items. Okay. For this, we're going to make our items available. So let me go over here. My item is an entity that contains things like the name of the item, a description of the item, perhaps where the item is located. It also has some uniquely identifying fields. Okay. Those are the serial number and its unique ID.
Okay.
So let's just keep that in the back of our minds as we go ahead and we set up this type of REST service. All I have to do to expose a full menu of ways to integrate with my domain model is right-click and head down to the section here. So there's an entire section based on exposing the data. I could expose my data as a REST resource. I can expose it as an OData resource. And here I could even generate overview and input pages. My goal here is to expose this as a REST resource. So I'm going to click on expose as REST resource. And now we're going to create a new one. Let's go ahead to create the REST resource and we'll call it my service demo for now, because I want to go through the steps. We're not going to actually have to generate the entire thing. It's already set up. I want to go through the types of configuration we'd go through here. So we're going to be exposing the resource called item. And now the reason why I told you to remember that we've got some unique IDs is we need a way for third parties to uniquely identify the items we have in our inventory list. That's something like a barcode or a serial code. Here, we're just going to use the unique ID. Now, we have a bunch of choices for what types of REST verbs we're going to implement. Everything from get all, get by key. These allow people to retrieve data from our app. If all we wanted to do was set up a read-only system of record, we would set those two.
Okay.
In our case, I want to go one step further, and I want to let other people even create records. So what I'm really going to do is I'm going to select all the operations. And that's creating the essential CRUD, right? Create, retrieve, update, and delete ability in our application directly through a REST API. So now I'm going to hit OK, and behind the scenes, we're going to end up generating all the microflows and all the other logic that has to happen to build a secure REST service. So now, if I come back to the REST service, you'll see that we've got a lot of microflows and other artifacts were created for us that take care of everything behind the scenes. The one thing I want to highlight is we're going to use the My Service service, is that I can set up multiple types of security, right? The important thing to remember here is that I'm giving access to the data in my application, so I have to make sure that it's secured. I have a couple of different choices. Certainly, I'm going to say that my service requires authentication. I am setting it up as a couple of options. Here, username and password could be sufficient. I can also allow people to use their active session. And that means that if I'm already logged into an application, so I've already been authenticated, in that session and in that browser, we'll drop a little bit of information in the browser so that I can go ahead and I can make those calls without having to re-authenticate again. And you have complete ability to check custom. If I were to check custom, that means now that I can also authenticate a user based on a microflow. Right?
Cool.
So from basic authentication all the way to your custom authentication.
Awesome.
All right.
Okay,
For
great.
us, we're going to be okay with just username and password and active session for now. Let's go ahead and run my service. Mendix will also generate something called a Swagger document.
Okay, what is that?
Right, so a Swagger document is basically a contract. And it's the rules for connecting to my REST service. So it's the kind of thing that will tell you when you want to get an item from my REST service, this is the type of call that you need to make, or this is how you do it. Great. So I'm going to show you the Swagger document. So our app is the same app as before. We have our inventory items here. So I'm going to go over to the Swagger document that was created for us when I created these services, and it gives me examples of all the different ways I can interact with the service I've created. Okay, so remember that we allowed for basically session-based authentication. If I had turned that off, you would be required to come here and you would have to authorize, right? So we two choices for authentication. This was the first one, but we've already logged in, so we can use our session.
So I have to say, as you know, I'm kind of trying to be helpful for those of us the viewers who might be less technical. I'm familiar with Swagger, but I've had to go through and manually authorize on things. The fact that this is all put together for me is so nice, so nice.
Yeah, when you go and try to evaluate a REST service that you want to consume, this is the kind of document you're looking for, because this is what makes it easy. So remember, we set up some things that let us retrieve all the items. So I'm just going to go here and give you a quick little demo. If I click on get, it's telling me the types of JSON I need to send. This is very, very helpful when you're trying to connect. I'm going to show you how great or how easy it is to just test this out. So I just click the button up here called Try It Out. I'm going to execute the call. When I come down here, you'll see the response is all of the information that's inside of our app. So what you'll see here is the first item I retrieved was a set of very durable wool gloves. And if I were to go over here, you'll see that that's actually the first item in my inventory list. So I just programmatically retrieved data from the application by making a simple REST call.
So that's great. In basically minutes, you were able to safely and securely share data. And not only do it, but do it in a way where if somebody else wants to go get that data and they're allowed to, they can figure out how to do it. So Vin, this is great. Thank you so much for taking the time to share this with us. And again, my name is John Scalamero, and this has been Candid Low Code. For those watching, please let us know what topics you would like us to cover in the next videos in the comments below. And Vin, just take care, and I look forward to doing another one with these with you. Goodbye until next time.
Thanks a lot, John. Take care, everybody.
Thanks for watching. If you'd like more Candid Low Code content, please go to video.mendix.com or our YouTube channel. If you have ideas for new Candid Low Code videos, please let us know in the comments below.